Today's news highlights -20251007. Date October 7, 2025. Republic of China October 7, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. Source, Internet, major news media and channels, official accounts, app data. The channel content is only concise news content and does not have any perception or emotion. News highlights. Harvard Medical School pointed out that high bad cholesterol can increase the risk of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and stroke, and it is recommended to start with dietary adjustments. Studies have shown that 11 foods can help lower bad cholesterol, including oats, high-fat fish, vegetable oils, soybeans, nuts, legumes, fruits, such as apples, citrus, whole grains, eggplant, okra, fiber supplements, and foods containing phytosterols, which can effectively improve blood lipids and heart health. News highlights. 1 in 5 80-year-olds in Taiwan has dementia, and it is likely to reach 68 by 2050. Studies have shown that imbalance in gut flora is associated with dementia, and maintaining gut health can help prevent cognitive deterioration. Nutritionists recommend consuming more dietary fiber to promote intestinal peristalsis, stabilize the flora, reduce toxin absorption, and protect brain health. Vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and seaweed are all good sources. News highlights. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order pushing TikTok's U.S. business to separate from China's ByteDance, which will be controlled by the U.S. and supervised by Oracle in the future. Experts believe that this move will help prevent the CCP from using TikTok for information infiltration, and call on the Taiwanese government to cooperate with the United States to make the Taiwanese version of TikTok use American algorithms to reduce the CCP's influence and maintain information security and election fairness. News highlights. The 2025 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to American scientist Mary Brunko, Fred Ramstall, and Professor Shifumi Sakaguchi of Osaka University in Japan jointly received the award for their discovery of moderation T cells. These cells can prevent the immune system from attacking their own tissues, reveal immune tolerance mechanisms, and open up new directions for the treatment of autoimmune diseases and cancers, laying an important milestone in immunomedicine. News highlights. Foreign media revealed that the CCP manipulated fake social accounts through the Philippine marketing company Infinitus to launch an information war, slandering the US-Philippine alliance and Western vaccines, and weakening the Philippines' sovereignty in the South China Sea. According to the investigation, the Chinese embassy funded the company to operate the fake account Internet Army and the fake media Nihao Manila, promoting pro-China propaganda, attacking anti-China people, and even using cash prizes to win over Philippine officials. The incident has aroused concern in Philippine political circles and called for strengthening regulations on foreign interference prevention. News highlights. The traditional more in the morning and less in the evening diet is suitable for the agricultural era, but now the rhythm of life has changed, and it should be adjusted to less in the morning, more in the afternoon, and just right in the evening. Breakfast is low in sugar, heavy protein, and fat to maintain stable blood sugar. Lunch is balanced and nutritious, full to avoid afternoon cravings. Dinner is moderate, less oil and less frying, and choose sleep-aiding ingredients such as dairy, fish, and fruits to help digestion and good sleep. Developing such a rhythm can improve metabolism and create a fat-losing physique. News highlights. Runner's knee is not only caused by running, but is a general term that covers a variety of anterior knee pain, including patellar pain syndrome, patellar slip abnormality, and patellar malacia. Any high intensity or overuse of the knee, such as flywheel, basketball, football, cycling, etc., can be caused. The initial symptoms are not obvious, and continuous exercise can lead to swelling, pain, and even degeneration. Treatment is mainly based on rest, ice, knee braces, anti-inflammatory drugs, and gluteal muscle training, and severe cases require surgery. After recovery, exercise should be done sequentially to avoid overload to prevent recurrence. News highlights. Sakura shrimp is not a juvenile shrimp, but a small shrimp with an adult size of only about 4 centimeters, scientifically known as cherry shrimp, named because of the luminous device on its body surface, which looks like a cherry blossom when floating on the sea. Taiwan is the only country outside Japan that can catch cherry blossom shrimp, mainly produced in the waters of Pingtung Donggang and Yulangishan Island. In order to maintain sustainable resources, fishermen in Donggang have set conventions for fishing within a time limit and implemented an auction system. To identify authenticity, the shrimp can be soaked in hot water, and the real product will not fade and exudes a light fragrance. Sakura shrimp is rich in calcium and astaxanthin, which are often added to dishes to enhance the aroma and flavor, and are a nutritious and precious seafood. News highlights. Honhai paid 8.8 billion yuan in dividends at the end of September, and when employees were woken up by being smashed by new Taiwan dollars, former Sharp President Dai Zhengguo filed a lawsuit against Honhai to recover the 600 million yuan reward signed with Terrigo. After the mediation between the two parties broke down, the lawsuit entered the trial stage, and lawyer Dai Zhengguo applied to summon Terrigo's private accountant Zhuang Hongren to testify in court to prove that the contract was valid. The case will be heard again on October 13, and Honhai emphasized that it would respond in accordance with the law and not back down, while Terry Go and the Yongling Foundation did not respond. News highlights Zhang Wanting has been in the industry for 27 years, and this year she was shortlisted for the Golden Bell Supporting Actress for the first time with the Queen. Despite this, she still devoted herself to the new reality show Marvel Stars, showing her true personality and encouraging young girls to pursue their dreams bravely. News highlights the Taiwan Steel Eagles reversed the regular season to win the Wei Chuanlong, and Ye Baidai hit the first 3-run home run of his career to win the MVP. During the award ceremony, a single man and a woman were accidentally matched on the big screen of the stadium, and it was later confirmed that they had successfully contacted, and the stadium instantly turned into a romantic secondary vocational matching show, which aroused warm blessings from netizens. News highlights Huang Qiakang's Public Welfare Exposing Corruption and Whistleblower Protection Association paparazzi group was exposed to fake public welfare and real profit-making, and member Xia Xinjin secretly photographed political opponents through Wang Henggui's assistant Zhang Kaiwei, charging 2 to 4 yuan per case, causing controversy over the crime of obstructing secrets and intention to make profits. News highlights Fan Yuan debuted 40 years ago, and the peak capital of the clothing industry exceeded 200 million, but she was betrayed by her sister and went bankrupt overnight. Now back in the music scene, her new single Good Times topped the best songs list, and Hong Kong ICC lights helped, and she is also actively preparing for next year's concert. News highlights Huang Qiakang's paparazzi group broke the news and added to the controversy. Ho Hanting spent 40,000 yuan to buy photos of Guo Zhiwei attending the banquet, and later laughed at himself for spending money and being scolded, showing that Zhang Kaiwei has been peddling the candid photos provided by Xia Xinjin for a long time, causing the blue camp to overturn many times, including the mentioned case of Su Qiaxin and Pan Mengan, showing that the paparazzi information errors are frequent, but they still rely on sales to make profits. News highlights. News highlights a pair of 10-year-old twin brothers in Hsinchu City spent the night with their father at home, only to find out that their father had passed away the next day. A single father surnamed Zhang had been in poor health for a long time and was suspected to have died from a fall and head injury. The Social Affairs Bureau and the school have intervened to arrange for relatives to take care of them and provide life, psychological and educational assistance, calling on the society to pay attention to single parents and disadvantaged families. News highlights OpenAI and Supermicro have reached a multi-year cooperation agreement, and OpenAI will use Supermicro AI chips to build a total computing power 6 GW facility from the second half of 2026, which is expected to bring tens of billions of dollars in annual revenue, and obtain Supermicro warrants, which can be purchased up to 10% of the shares. This move attracted market attention, driving Supermicro's stock price to soar by 27%, while Nvidia fell by about 1%, and TSMC and foundries Honhai and Quanta also benefited. News highlights last week, the weighted index of Taiwan stocks continued to hit a record high, rising 1,180 points, 4.6%, in a single week, rising for 6 consecutive weeks. There are only 3 trading days this week, but legal persons are optimistic that Taiwan stocks will continue to rise driven by the stock prices of the three sons Nvidia, Apple, and TSMC. Theme stocks such as AI concept stocks, advanced semiconductor processes, and Apple's supply chain still have layout value, and the operation suggestions are mainly high-performing stocks and small and medium-sized stocks with performance themes. News highlights TSMC's Kaohsiung factory successfully trial-produced 2nm wafers, and Kaohsiung Mayor Chen Kamai received a commemorative wafer, code K1A001.00, from TSMC Chairman Wei Zhijia, and inscribed the poem Great Southern New Silicon Valley, symbolizing that Kaohsiung has entered the era of advanced semiconductors and will become a global semiconductor core base. News highlights Tesla Musk will invest more than $180 billion to build 2 large-scale AI data centers in Memphis, Tennessee, USA, to deploy computing power for its XAI, and plans to purchase about 30 sets of Nvidia chips. The first Colossus is already in operation, the second Colossus 2 is about to be completed, with an expected number of chips to reach 55 sets, and XAI is also expanding its AI game development business, and is expected to launch AI-generated games by the end of next year. News highlights after the Kuomintang won the recall battle, the presidential election on October 18 fell into a melee, with 6 people competing, including Luo's Haiqiang, Zhang Luan, and Hao Longbin, who attracted the most attention, forming a showdown between conservatives and reformers. Although each has their own voice and qualifications, scholars generally believe that there is still a lack of core leaders who can integrate the party and lead the Kuomintang back to power. News highlights in February this year, a couple surnamed Lin made suspicious sexual acts in the car in the Carrefour parking lot in Zhonghua City, causing heated discussions on the internet. The prosecution determined that Lin Nan was openly naked and made sexual intercourse positions, violating social good customs, and was prosecuted for the crime of public indecency, and the court sentenced him to 20 days of detention and a fine. His wife was not prosecuted due to insufficient evidence. News highlights artist Huang Zijiao's lawsuit is not over and he is involved in a traffic accident again. He left without getting out of the car to inspect after driving into a female rider in Sankong, New Taipei City in August, and the police sent it to the investigation office according to the crime of hit and run and negligent injury. Huang was previously sentenced to 8 months in prison and fined 10 yuan for purchasing underage sexual images, and divorced his wife Meng Zhengru, which severely damaged his image. News highlights Hualian's Matayan Creek dammed lake overflowed and caused disaster, and many people spontaneously jumped into the rescue. Lin Hongsan, a 48-year-old excavator volunteer from Daowen, stayed up all day to assist in disaster relief, but due to a foot wound infection caused sepsis, he finally died on the night of the Mid-Autumn Festival. His selfless dedication touched the whole of Taiwan and was known as a true folk hero. News highlights Although the Taiwan Steel Eagles missed the playoffs this season, they defeated Wei Chuanlong in the last game, and Ye Baidai hit the first home run of his career to win the MVP. During the award ceremony, there was a scene of a female fan I'm single and a male fan in the same frame as a male fan who I really want to get off my single on my birthday today. News highlights Internet celebrity curator Chen Saihan made a gaffe during the live broadcast and shouted "Cut off Liking's dog head," causing controversy. The presidential office emphasized that the security of the head of state cannot be challenged, and the Criminal Bureau has reported the crime of inciting others to commit crimes and intimidating and endangering security in accordance with the criminal law. The curator's attitude became more low-key afterwards, admitting that the police were determined to do it, and shouted to his supporters that he hoped his family would be helped. News highlights the Taipei District Court held a trial today on the Jinghua City and political donation case, summoning former People's Party Chairman Cai Wentz to appear in court as a witness. Cai was accused of accepting bribes from Shen Qingjing during his tenure as mayor of Beijing, profiting from the Jinghua City case, and embezzling political donations through Mook Company during the presidential election, involving more than 60 million yuan. Cai denied accepting bribes and embezzlement, emphasizing that the submission procedure was legal and the content of the account book was not recorded by himself. News highlights Lin Hongsan, the owner of Daowen Excavator Company, rushed to the disaster area to rescue, but died of sepsis caused by a foot injury infection on the night of the Mid-Autumn Festival. Premier Zhou Rongta expressed deep regret and would extend his highest condolences, saying that Lin has become a disaster relief hero from a volunteer, and called on volunteers to take good care of protection and pay attention to health and safety when going to the disaster area. News highlights a thrilling scene occurred at Taiwan Railway Wuquan Station on the afternoon of the 6th, when a station attendant stopped a man who had not purchased a ticket. He was pushed off the track by a 39-year-old man surnamed Chen, only 6 seconds away from the next train. Chen Nan immediately fled, and the police arrested him nearby after reviewing the surveillance camera, and the whole case was investigated as attempted murder. The station staff was sent to the hospital with a suspected leg fracture, and Taiwan Railways will assist in filing a complaint and strengthen personnel safety measures. News highlights the overflow of the dammed lake in Matayan Creek in Hualien severely damaged Guangfu Township, and post-disaster recovery work continued. Executive Yuan political counselor Ji Liancheng has served as the chief coordinator of the Central Forward Coordination Institute since September 30, and has attracted attention for his decisive and clear command style. News highlights Internet celebrity curator Chen Saihan recently shouted "Cut off Liking's dog head" in response to netizens' questions in a live broadcast, which attracted great attention from the presidential office and the criminal bureau, and launched an investigation in accordance with the law. The curator said in a live broadcast last night that his lawyer confirmed that he would be investigated under the national security law and intimidation crimes, and if he was detained, he hoped that fans could take care of his family. He questioned that the remarks were taken out of context and lamented that Taiwan's freedom of speech is restricted. News highlights Huang Zijiao was driving in Sankong District, New Taipei City in August this year and collided with a 60-year-old woman surnamed Lin. Mrs. Lin suffered injuries to her face, arms, and knees and reported the case after seeking medical examination. The police checked the surveillance camera to lock Huang Zijiao and sent him to the New Taipei District Prosecutor's Office for investigation on the charges of hit and run and negligent injury, and the responsibility has yet to be clarified. News highlights Ximanding is still a popular tourist business district in Taipei, attracting more than 1,113 people from January to May this year, but the nearby audio-visual and electrical streets, camera streets, and bookstore streets are gradually declining. Although stores are working hard to transform, hold events, or cooperate with the government, it is still difficult to regain the glory of the past, and the popularity of surrounding neighborhoods is difficult to share the popularity of Ximanding. News highlights the indoor parent-child park Belle Silk Paradise once had 10 branches in Taiwan, but it has been closed in just 1 year since November 2024, and the last 2 stores, Bangqiao Pavilion and Taichung Rice Square Pavilion, turned off the lights on September 30. The operator confirmed the closure of business and announced the second-level refund method on the official website for members to register online from October 1 to December 31 to return stored value. Recently, some parents have formed a self-help group to recover more than 390 yuan in stored value. News highlights actress Mo Yunwen lost about 6 kilograms due to the drama, and appeared in the Niaho hypermarket and was witnessed as thin as a paper man, but she was in a happy mood and had a regular life, and she could still lift 18 kilograms of cat litter. She has a stable relationship, has a boyfriend outside the circle, has recently participated in many series, and her acting career continues to advance. News highlights: Taiwan imposed semiconductor export controls on South Africa for the first time due to South Africa's unilateral downgrade, covering 47 chip products, with annual exports of about $3,000, which is more symbolic than substantial. South Africa has close ties with China, Taiwan's influence in the local area has weakened, and the size of the local Taiwanese community has shrunk to about 8,000 people, which has attracted international attention. News highlights: Lai Ching-te said in an exclusive interview with American conservatives that TSMC and Taiwan Semiconductors are only part of the global ecosystem, and the United States is still in a leading position. Taiwan is willing to assist the United States in reindustrialization and become an artificial intelligence center, and supports TSMC's investment in the United States, Japan, and Germany to jointly maintain its leading position in global semiconductors and AI. News highlights: Hualien Guangfu Township was severely damaged by the overflow of the Matayan Creek dammed lake, and volunteers from all over the country participated in disaster relief. Lin Hongson, the owner of Daowin Excavator Company, was stabbed and infected during disaster relief, and after being transferred to a hospital for treatment, he still passed away due to sepsis and multiple organ failure on the night of the Mid-Autumn Festival yesterday. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan today questioned the disaster situation of Hualien Dammed Lake, and Kuomintang legislator Fu Kunkai questioned the lack of the central evacuation plan and asked 8,600 evacuation plans and discussions in 7 ministries. Premier Zhou Rongde responded that the local government had completed the evacuation and reported to the president, triggering a fierce exchange between the two sides. The Minister of Agriculture also emphasized that he has repeatedly promoted with local governments. News highlights: after retiring from the army, CAO Jinping, who survived the catastrophe, became the general manager of Hangxiang, using his military and aerospace expertise to promote the drone industry, specializing in countering drone laser hard kill systems, with a self-made rate of nearly 90%, and will launch a prototype at the end of the year, advocating low-cost lasers to replace missiles, strengthen domestic air defense and support small and medium-sized manufacturers. News highlights: 2 10-year-old twin sons thought their father was just asleep, stayed by their side all night, and only asked the teacher for help the next day to call the police. Zhang once suffered from major depression and was in poor health, and the Social Affairs Department has intervened to assist in the placement of the twins and provide follow-up assistance. News highlights: when Huang Zijiao was driving through Sankong District, New Taipei City in August this year, he collided with a 60-year-old woman surnamed Lin. The police checked the surveillance camera and confirmed that the perpetrator was Huang Zijiao, and sent it to the district prosecutor's office for investigation according to the hit-and-run and negligent injury letter. News highlights: internet celebrity curator Chen Caihan recently broadcast live broadcast saying "cut off Lai King's dog head" and shouted to China, which attracted the attention of public opinion and prosecutions. The curator argued that the remarks were taken out of context, emphasizing that he would respond to netizens' questions, and said that if he was detained, he hoped that fans would help his family. The prosecution has investigated in accordance with the national security law and the crime of intimidation, and will summon the curator to make a transcript. News highlights: a man surnamed Zhang took the initiative to post on IG during the Mid-Autumn Festival that he had completed the transcript, calling on the media and the public not to go to the scene on October 13 and apologize for the controversy caused by the incident. The incident originated from a conflict with an old woman on the MRT on September 29, and the video was exposed and caused positive and negative comments. News highlights: a tragedy occurred on September 4 in the Erlao Mountains of Zhuochen, Tainan, where 18-year-old Su Nan drove a car chasing the sunrise without a license and was suspected of crashing into his 17-year-old friend Yang Nan, who was also riding a motorcycle without a license, and Yang Nan died of his injuries. After the accident, a friend who traveled with him took a selfie of reporting safety and was suspected of uploading a picture of the deceased's severed limb, which caused netizens to condemn cold-blooded behavior. News highlights: People's Party chairman Huang Qiaoqing was recently caught in the paparazzi turmoil and was accused of directing the follow-up team to monitor political opponents, including former chairman Kei Wen's. Huang connected with Kei Wen's in a YouTube live broadcast yesterday, 6th, and asked about the controversy over the prison. Kei responded, "No, it's boring," and the two interacted easily in a self-deprecating way, trying to dilute the doubts of the outside world. News highlights: after the overflow of the dammed lake in Matayan Creek in Hualien, Ji Liancheng, a member of the Executive Yuan, has served as the chief coordinator of the Central Forward Coordination Institute since September 30, quickly integrating central and local resources to promote restoration. At the press conference on the 5th, when asked to report the key points to the president, he domineeringly replied, "I will report to you if you are president," and his decisive style was praised by netizens as the imperial envoy is a sense of sight. News highlights: Taiwanese artists Zhang Ting and Lin Ruiyang used to run a company in China involved in illegal pyramid schemes, and their property was frozen and then all were unblocked, and they recently resumed live streaming. Yesterday, 6th, during the Mid-Autumn Festival, they were in the same frame as their children and former Kuomintang chairman Hong Zaihuzu, shouting peaceful reunification of the two sides of the strait. News highlights: in the past, In the 2013 Hong Kong TVB interview, Zhao Wei blurted out, "I have killed someone." The video was dug up again, causing some netizens to associate with the late artist Jia Renliang, and the video was subsequently removed from the shelves. Zhao Wei did not respond to the matter, but Jia Renliang's family and friends have publicly clarified that he committed suicide due to depression, calling on the outside world to stop speculation and respect the deceased and his family. News highlights: Qing Shui Meng constellation tarot teacher Xiao Meng predicts that after the double 10th National Day, those with the zodiac sign of tigers, rabbits, and rats will have good luck. The tiger is prosperous and interpersonal with good interpersonal relationships, rabbit peach blossoms and side hustles are both harvested, rat has clear goals and high investment returns, and all three zodiac signs have windfalls and new opportunities. News highlights: Internet celebrity curator Chen Zhihan said in a live broadcast on the 5th that he cut off Li Qing's dog's head and shouted to China, which attracted the attention of the prosecution and investigation, and the new Taipei prosecutor's office has filed a case for investigation. At noon on the 7th, the curator appeared at the Beijing inspection office, distributed 100 McDonald's copies to fans and signed a group photo, and the atmosphere was like a meeting. News highlights: a top student from National Taiwan University kicked a 73-year-old woman surnamed Zheng who gave up her seat and flew away. He expressed his hope to objectively restore the situation on IG. The well-known internet celebrity Retina dramatized the incident with a KUSO video, humorously ridiculing passengers for missing the prize money for catching wanted criminals, triggering heated interactions among netizens. News highlights: the overflow of the dammed lake in Matayan Creek in Hualien severely damaged Guangfu Township, and the National Army was stationed to rescue. A touching video circulated on the internet. A little girl waved to the officers and soldiers, and the officers and soldiers not only high-fived back, but also gave her a hat. News highlights: artist Huang Zijiao was sentenced last year for possessing sexual images of children and is still on appeal. In August this year, he was involved in a car accident again, and the police sent a hit-and-run and negligent injury letter to the new Taipei District Prosecutor's Office for investigation. Huang Zijiao clarified through the agency that the video of the accident scene showed that he did not intentionally hit and run to avoid the brakes of the oncoming motorcycle. News highlights: during the disaster in Hualien Guangfu Township, Lin Hongsan, the owner of Daowin Excavator Shop, brought disaster relief equipment to the rescue, but unfortunately his left foot was injured and infected with sepsis. His family grieved and sent him on his last journey, and netizens and funeral workers called him a true hero, interpreting selfless courage with his life. News highlights: Mirror News anchor Wang Xianyu blurted out in the program that "I am not a Chinese in this life," emphasizing that he cannot identify with the Communist Party of China and is not aimed at the Chinese people. He also clarified that he has many Chinese friends who just don't want to be ruled by a dictatorship. News highlights: actress Su Zhenzhen took her daughter Little Pearl and her husband to Komodo Island for vacation 7 months after giving birth, wearing a bikini to show off her hot body. She once revealed that her bust rose to an F cup in the early stages of pregnancy, and after giving birth, she has regained her waist-thin and breast-swelling curve, and sweetly enjoys parenting and family life. News highlights: pop diva Britney recently shared a hot dance video on IG, wearing pink sequined underwear and a feather skirt, but there were many bruises all over her body and bandages on her legs. Fans are concerned about her health and home safety. News highlights: can't finish the Mid-Autumn Festival grapefruit? Fruit Gongdaebo shared 3 storage methods: put it in a cool and ventilated place at room temperature, and the grapefruit can be stored face down for 2 to 3 weeks, peel the pulp and refrigerate and seal for 2 to 3 days, or freeze the pulp in pieces and ice to enjoy a refreshing yuzu smoothie. News highlights: a car shock occurred in the parking lot of a store in Zhonghua in February this year. A man surnamed Lin and his wife made suspected sexual intercourse in a Mercedes car. The door was not closed and was photographed by the public and uploaded to the internet, causing more than 500 views. The court found that Lin Nan exposed his lower body and made sexual intercourse positions in public places, destroying social good customs, and sentenced him to 20 days of detention and a fine. Lin's wife had insufficient evidence and was not prosecuted. News highlights: studies have shown that walking stride length is closely related to brain health, and people with short strides have about 3 times the risk of cognitive decline as older strides. Stride length is affected by parietal lobe atrophy, reduced blood flow, and beta amyloid accumulation, and it is recommended to aim for 65 centimeters. By increasing stride length, strength training, and forward bend stretching, walking ability can be improved, thereby promoting brain activation and cognitive function maintenance. News highlights: OpenAI and AMD announced a multi-year computing power cooperation to deploy up to 6 GW of Instinct accelerators on multiple generations of GPUs, with the first wave of 1 GW going online in the second half of 2026 and issuing up to 1.6 billion shares to OpenAI, with a stake limit of about 10%. This move aims to respond to the global demand for AI service expansion, alleviate the computing power gap, and strengthen diversified supply chain strategies. AMD's stock price surged nearly 24% in a single day after the announcement, while the market believed that the impact on Nvidia was limited. News highlights: Huang reshaped Nvidia's success with a first principles mindset, breaking down problems to the most basic truths, filtering industry noise, and focusing on core breakthroughs. In practice, this method can help entrepreneurs find answers from the essence, such as returning to formulas to analyze traffic and conversion rates when revenue stagnates, focusing on real value in AI applications, and reviewing long-term payment logic in SaaS design. The key is to see through the appearance and focus on the essence, rather than blindly following or imitating the trend, and find the most effective solution for yourself. News highlights: OpenAI announced at its annual developer conference that ChatGPT will open up third-party applications, including Spotify, Zillow, Canva, etc., allowing users to directly operate services in conversations and launch apps SDK for developers to build applications. The new features aim to enhance interactivity and personalized experiences, attract businesses and developers to join the ecosystem, and support monetization models such as real-time checkout. ChatGPT has surpassed 800 million weekly active users, and OpenAI has further solidified its position as an AI platform by expanding its infrastructure and collaborating to ensure computing supply. News highlights: the overflow of the dammed lake in Matayan Creek in Hualien caused serious disasters in Guangfu Township, and the outside world questioned the evacuation operation inadequately. At the post-disaster review meeting of the Legislative Yuan, Kuomintang legislator Fu Kunkai repeatedly questioned the slow response of the central government, slamming the table and shouting, "Has its tsunami warning been issued?" Premier Zhou Rongde responded that the disaster response had been activated, and the responsibility for the evacuation belonged to the local government, and choked Fu Kunkai that "You are saving your political life." News highlights: NBA star LeBron James announced on social platforms today, 7th, that he will release a major news at 12 o'clock tonight US time, calling it a decision of all decisions and marking the second decision. Since he is over 40 years old, there is widespread speculation that he may announce his retirement. This season is also the last year of his contract with the Lakers, a move that has attracted great attention from fans. News highlights: the international gold price hit a new high. This morning, 7th, U.S. gold futures briefly broke through $4,000 per ounce, hit $4,000.05 and then fell back to about $3,983, with a cumulative increase of nearly 50% this year. Analysts believe that the uncertainty brought about by Trump's policies, the Federal Reserve's interest rate cuts, and central banks increasing their holdings of gold to reduce the proportion of U.S. dollar assets are the main reasons for the rise in gold prices. In addition, the U.S. government shutdown crisis has also exacerbated safe haven demand. News highlights: after the Mid-Autumn Festival, entering the cold dew solar term, numerology experts pointed out that Pisces relies on popularity and wealth, Gemini is good at short-term speculation, and Capricorn is the most prosperous in terms of wealth and stability. At this time, seizing connections, flexible actions, and financial planning can enhance cooperation income, investment returns, and long-term wealth accumulation. News highlights: OpenAI announced that it will cooperate with AMD to purchase up to 6 GW of computing power and acquire about 10% of AMD's shares, expanding the supply of AI chips to reduce dependence on Nvidia. This move pushed AMD's stock price up by 23.71%, posing a challenge to Nvidia. OpenAI also cooperates with Broadcom and Oracle to deploy diversified chips and data centers to ensure future computing power demand and risk diversification. News highlights: Taiwan's first self-made satellite, Formosa Satellite 8, FSAA, took off from the National Space Center in Hsinchu today and is expected to be launched in the fourth quarter of this year, and is named Led Zeppelin in memory of the late aerial director Led Zeppelin. Fuwei 8 has a self-made rate of 84% and a resolution of less than 1 meter, and will be used in land planning, disaster response, and environmental monitoring in the future, and is expected to complete the deployment of 8 satellite systems in 2031. News highlights: Honha's revenue in September reached 8,371 billion yuan, 2.057 trillion yuan in the third quarter, and 5.497 trillion yuan in the first 9 months, all of which reached record highs. The company is optimistic about the demand for AI servers, estimating that the performance of cabinets will increase by 300% quarter-on-quarter this quarter, and the annual revenue will exceed 1 trillion yuan, accounting for about 1/7 of the total, and continue to expand production capacity to meet the rapidly growing AI market demand. News highlights: due to the explosion of demand for AI servers, Delta's stock price soared from 275 yuan in April this year to a high of 995 yuan on Tuesday, an increase of 2.6 times, and the target price of foreign investors reached a maximum of 1,300 yuan. Analysts are optimistic about its high-voltage direct current, HVDC, power supply, liquid cooling technology, and grid-to-chip integration solutions, helping Delta continue to lead the AI server market. News highlights: Tesla will release a more affordable entry-level Model Y, priced at about $39,990, about $121, in the United States, lowering the entry threshold but canceling some equipment. The global pure electric vehicle market is led by China's bid, and Tesla's deliveries continue to decline. Taiwan stock focus Largan 9/revenue of 62.35 billion yuan, consolidated revenue in the third quarter of 176.77 billion yuan, benefiting from the iPhone 17 pull effect. The cumulative year-on-year increase in the first 9 months of the year is 6.5%, and exports are expected to be 23 consecutive reds. News highlights. According to the 113-year Household Income and Expenditure Survey of the Controller General's Office, Taiwan's high-income families live a modern life and focus on knowledge absorption, with a penetration rate of 85.3% of automobiles, 92.5% of home computers, and a subscription rate of books, magazines, and newspapers that are also higher than average. News highlights. Supermicro, AMD, announced on October 6 that it had reached a long-term AI chip supply agreement with OpenAI, allowing OpenAI to purchase up to 10% of Supermicro's stock options, and the news pushed up the stock price by more than 23% to $203.71 on the same day. Since the beginning of this year, it has increased by nearly 69%. The agreement will provide 6 GW of computing power, which is expected to bring tens of billions of dollars in revenue, aiming to diversify chip sources and meet AI computing power demand, and the market is generally optimistic about the long-term growth potential of AI. News highlights. Taipei's supercar mother Chen Jialing raised Xiaobi with cerebral palsy alone, accompanied her to more than 300 marathons, and climbed Yushan last year and filmed the documentary I Only Remain Brave. Xiaobi suddenly lost signs of life while taking a bath last month, and held a music memorial service at the Yong'an Hall of the Municipal Funeral Home this morning, 7th. The supercar mother carefully arranged the Huahe Morning Hall, emotionally saying, "Let's send him on a long journey together with a blessing mood," and shared the bravery and mission of mother and son together. News highlights. The international gold price hit a new high, with the spot hitting $3,977 per ounce, and the selling price of the Bank of Taiwan's gold passbook reached 3,916 yuan/gram in early trading. If you invest 10 yuan in the same period last year, the current value has increased to about 14.25 yuan, with a return rate of more than 42%. Gold is still bullish in the medium and long term, supported by weak U.S. economic data, interest rate cut expectations and geopolitical risks, but the technical side is overheated and may pull back in the short term. News highlights. AMD has reached a long-term AI chip supply agreement with OpenAI, which allows OpenAI to purchase AMD MI450 series chips and build a 1 GW facility, as well as access to up to 10% of AMD's shares at a low price. This move is estimated to bring AMD tens of billions of dollars in revenue every year, and new revenue is expected to exceed $1,000 billion in the next 4 years. The news inspired AMD's stock price to soar 23.7%, and analysts pointed out that the grant of low-priced shares to OpenAI is equivalent to sending tens of billions of dollars of chips to customers, triggering market discussions about AI investment bubbles and perpetual motion leverage. News highlights. A tragedy occurred on Tainan South Line 162 on the 4th. An 18-year-old man surnamed Su drove a high-speed corner without a license and killed a 17-year-old boy surnamed Yang in the same direction. After the accident, the woman who was traveling with her actually uploaded a video of Yang Nan, who was injured and fell to the ground on the community, causing condemnation from netizens. The police pointed out that the perpetrator and others in the car were trapped in the car and sent to the hospital in the car, and it was preliminarily determined that the perpetrators did not have driver's licenses. News highlights. The study followed 17 people for 19 years and found that moderate coffee consumption can reduce the risk of overall mortality, cancer, and cardiovascular death. Drinking 2.5 to 4.5 cups a day is optimal, even if it contains sugar, but excessive consumption may increase the risk. Coffee polyphenols are believed to have antioxidant and cardiovascular protective effects, and it is recommended to combine them with a balanced diet and exercise. News highlights. Taiwan stocks continued to hit record highs last Friday, with the weighted index rising for 6 consecutive weeks, and it is still high for only 3 trading days this week. The legal person pointed out that the stock prices of the 3 major weight stocks of Nvidia, Apple, and TSMC are strong, driving the performance of related supply chains and AI concept stocks. TSMC's production capacity is full, the iPhone 17 is pulling goods beyond expectations, the interest rate cut in October, and the positive legal theory and U.S. stock earnings reports support the continued upward attack of Taiwan stocks. News highlights. AMD and OpenAI have reached a long-term AI chip supply agreement, and OpenAI will purchase Supermicro MI450 series chips to build a total computing power 6 GW facility, with annual revenue expected to be tens of billions of dollars, and warrants will be issued to purchase up to 10% of Supermicro's shares. The news inspired Supermicro's U.S. stock price to soar by 27%, and related foundries such as TSMC, Honhai, and Quanta also benefited. News highlights. TSMC's Kaohsiung factory successfully trial-produced 2nm process wafers, and Kaohsiung Mayor Chen Kamai received a commemorative wafer K1A001.00 from Chairman Wei Zhijia. Chen Kamai said that this commemorative wafer is of historical significance and will encourage the city government to continue to promote the construction of a complete semiconductor industry chain. News highlights. Tesla Musk has increased his AI layout, planning to build 2 large data centers, Colossus and Colossus 2 in Memphis, USA, and is expected to invest at least $180 billion to purchase about 30 sets of NVIDIA chips to support XAI computing power. Dell Foundry partners such as Hon Hai, Wistron, and Inventec will benefit from the increase in AI cabinet shipments. In addition, XAI has also entered AI-generated video games, and will launch its first AI game by the end of next year. News highlights: the memory group was motivated by the price increase theme and the cooperation between Supermicro and OpenAI, and Winbond and PSMC both hit the daily limit in early trading on the 7th. Winbond hit a new high since 2001, and Phison and ADATA also set new historical prices. The 3 major legal entities continue to overbuy. Coupled with the recovery of NAND and the increase in cloud demand, the market is optimistic about the short-term continuation of the semiconductor boom, and tight supply and demand may support prices. News highlights: OpenAI only named partners at the developer conference, which drove the stock price to soar, such as Figma up 7.4%, HubSpot up 2.6%, Salesforce up 2.3%, and even Expedia up more than 7% at one point. The analysis pointed out that market sentiment dominates, and any news related to OpenAI can drive the stock price. Experts believe that this move can also expand cooperation and attract users, but it also raises concerns about the AI bubble. News highlights: although the housing prices of old apartments in Taiwan are cheaper, due to the tightening of bank loan ratios, the average self-prepared funds in Taiwan rose to 275 yuan in the first half of this year, and even reached 454 yuan in Taipei City, an increase of 70 yuan over last year. Banks are conservative in lending to old houses, coupled with decoration needs. First-time buyers are under great financial pressure, so it is recommended to calculate the loan amount and prepare more self-prepared funds before buying a house. News highlights: toxicology expert Xiao Minggui reminds 7 unhealthy living habits. Food mold should not only be cut off, the refrigerator is too full, grains do not need to be put in the refrigerator, sunlight and sun protection should be moderate, fruits and vegetables need to be washed with running water, high heat is fragrant and easy to produce oil fumes, and be sure to turn on the range hood when cooking. Improving these habits can reduce bacteria, mold, and health risks. News highlights: after the disaster in Hualien Guangfu Township, 7 junior high schools resumed classes today, 7th, and the classrooms of Guangfu Junior High School were still covered with sediment, and students were busy cleaning in the first class. The principal of Guangfu Elementary School and the education office prepare books, stationery, and daily necessities in advance. Campus safety is maintained by the police, software and hardware equipment are gradually restored, and all walks of life work together to create a safe and stable learning environment. News highlights: professional basketball Taipei God of War cheerleading team member KK was sentenced to 3 months in prison, fined 3 yuan, and suspended for 2 years. She said that she was also a victim of bank accounts used by fraud groups and was originally just looking for a job, calling on everyone to be vigilant and protect their financial security. News highlights: Tainan's Wushantou Reservoir has installed about 11.5 hectares of floating solar photovoltaics, raising concerns among residents about the impact on water quality and landscape. The Water Resources Department and the reservoir clarified that photovoltaic panels only account for 1.3% of the reservoir area, and the materials are safe and non-toxic, with no impact on water use. The system generates about 1,700 kilowatt-hours of electricity and reduces carbon emissions by about 8,906 metric tons per year, and is part of the government's green energy and non-nuclear homeland policy, but experts suggest long-term environmental monitoring is required. News highlights: the DPP's 2026 local election layout has been launched, with the goal of holding on to the existing 5 counties and cities and fighting for 1+1 to regain Yulan and target Taichung. Former legislator Gao Jieu suggested that the election should be interesting and fresh, and recommended Wang Shijian to run for mayor of Taipei to show the youthful vitality of the DPP. Senior media people pointed out that if any county or city is lost, party chairman Li King may have to resign, and the list of elected generals will be determined at the end of January next year. News highlights: before the National Day holiday, 10th, to during the holiday, there will be sporadic short-term rain from the north coast to Yulan due to the weak northeast monsoon, and it may also rain in various mountainous areas in the afternoon. From the 17th to mid-November, there will be more rainfall north of Taichung, and the probability of abnormal rainfall in Yulan is high, but the forecast uncertainty will increase after 5 days. News highlights: the 37-year-old mainland actor fell to his death after drinking, which sparked heated discussions in the outside world. Jenny has repeatedly posted in solidarity, calling the incident weird, criticizing malicious remarks and injustice on the internet, emphasizing that she does not chase traffic, does not seek fame and fortune, and only hopes that fair discussions will not be forgotten, and calls for attention to the deceased and accountability for evil deeds at the scene. At the same time, she also criticized the chaos of the entertainment industry and criticized inappropriate behavior and money games. News highlights: AMD has reached a strategic cooperation with artificial intelligence startup OpenAI, with OpenAI pledging to purchase 6 GW GPUs and provide Supermicro warrants to obtain up to 10% of the shares. This move intensifies competition between Supermicro and Nvidia, increases OpenAI's bargaining power with other customers, and may reduce computing power costs. Experts believe that the cooperation has allowed Supermicro to gain strong endorsement, lock in tens of billions of dollars in revenue, and promote the diversification of chip supply, which is of great significance to both parties. News highlights: in recent years, real estate fraud has been frequent, and Qi's Taiwanese floor engineer defrauded nearly 150 million yuan a year, including forging wills, impersonating identities, and fake buyers seizing houses. In order to prevent illegal activities, the Ministry of the Interior has launched the real-time notification of cadastral changes, which allows owners to receive notices of property rights changes in real time. Residential and commercial housing also assisted in the concealment of personal information of the second type of transcript, and confirmed transactions through the trust system and text messages to create multiple protections to ensure the safety of people's real estate. News highlights: since Trump took office as President of the United States, the United States has accelerated the adjustment of its defense strategy. On September 30th, a rare recall of 800 generals from around the world was ostensibly an anti-DEI cultural speech, but it showed the intention to strengthen the military's combat power and internal rectification. The Trump administration's new version of the National Defense Strategy prioritizes U.S. domestic defense, clearly naming China as the only systematic challenge to adversaries, strengthening deterrence in the Indo-Pacific region, and requiring Taiwan to increase its defense budget. With the defense budget reaching a new high and focusing on hypersonic weapons and long-range precision munitions, the United States is actively building a comprehensive strategic deterrence system to enhance military agility and technological advantages, affecting the global strategic layout, especially the situation in the Taiwan Strait. News highlights: in the second half of 2025, global container shipping will be not busy, and the Shanghai Export Container Freight Index, SCFI, will continue to decline, reflecting insufficient demand and supply pressure. Taiwan's two major shipping companies, Evergreen Shipping and Yangming Shipping, have different outlooks for the future. Evergreen is optimistic about medium and long-term market recovery and continues to expand its fleet. Yangming believes that the off-season has come early, adopting a conservative strategy and strengthening long-term cooperation. The industry is returning to supply and demand fundamentals, while facing challenges in energy transition and environmental regulations, and shipping companies need to balance market fluctuations with long-term competitiveness. News highlights: in the global AI competition, computing power has become a key resource. The United States ranks first, while China relies on East data and West computing and green energy bases to quickly catch up, ranking second in the world in terms of total computing power. Taiwan has only one data center that supports AI inference, and it lacks large-scale model training capabilities, highlighting the importance of computing power to national technology and strategy. News highlights: China's tungsten exports have changed market rules, and tungsten has become a key material for semiconductors, aerospace, and defense. Taiwan Lianyu Metal has become a supplier to Apple, Tesla, and TSMC by recycling waste materials to produce high-value-added tungsten compounds, creating an urban mine model and grasping strategic resources and business opportunities in the international market. News highlights: the European Environmental Protection Agency report pointed out that although Europe leads the world in emission reduction and renewable energy use, the natural environment continues to deteriorate, with water and soil resources shortages and habitat deterioration. Extreme weather frequently causes significant casualties and economic losses, and the report calls on countries to strengthen climate resilience and sustainability measures to mitigate the impact of climate change. News highlights: American chip giant AMD has reached a multi-year AI chip supply agreement with OpenAI, which can obtain about 10% of Supermicro's shares, and the first batch of 1GW chips will be deployed in the second half of 2026. This move is expected to bring tens of billions of dollars in annual revenue to Supermicro, and also benefit Taiwanese AMD concept stocks such as TSMC and Honhai. News highlights: Universal Robots, UR, a leading Danish collaborative robot, has teamed up with the group's autonomous mobile robot Mir to integrate and launch a hand-and car application, and upgrade the operating system to an AI-native platform that can automatically calculate paths and integrate 3D vision. UR has created a UR Plus Partner Circle, opening up global manufacturers to develop compatible products and accelerate the application of AI cobots in manufacturing, logistics, medical and other fields. Latecomers can break through specialized AI algorithms or target niche markets, and Taiwanese SI factories can also provide integrated solutions to expand the short delivery market in Asia. News highlights: China Steel promotes carbon neutrality by 2050, establishes a 1+N carbon management demonstration team to guide downstream customers in energy conservation and carbon reduction, and develops steel chemical CO production, carbon capture and reuse byproduct gas synthesis chemicals. At the same time, the factory conducted ecological surveys and obtained environmental protection labels, demonstrating leadership in low-carbon transformation and sustainable operation. News highlights: the Kaohsiung Asia Asset Management Center was inaugurated, and 4 major international accounting firms were stationed to assist high-net-worth families and small and medium-sized enterprises in wealth inheritance, governance upgrading, and sustainable operation through consulting services such as family offices, cross-border taxation, asset activation, and corporate mergers and acquisitions, and promote the internationalization of asset management in southern Taiwan. News highlights: South Africa asked Taiwan to relocate its representative office and change the official website information, delete the name of Liao Wenz, the representative in South Africa, and list the deceased employees, causing dissatisfaction on the Taiwan side. This move shows that South Africa continues to dilute its diplomatic exchanges with Taiwan under the deepening of relations with China, putting pressure on Taiwan's international space. News highlights: child star Yezuki was shortlisted for the 60th Golden Bell Awards for the Most Promising Newcomer Award for mini-series/TV movie For Life Cleaner. Since she started filming commercials at the age of 4 or 5, her acting skills have been recognized, and she has rich experience in working with mother and daughter. News highlights: artist Xing Gui decided to suspend the filming of Beiwei Life at 8 o'clock in Sanli to focus on treatment and recuperation due to a recurrence of depression caused by autonomic nervous system and immune system disorders. Sanli respects his decision. The role will be replaced by Chen Yanan, and Xing Gui thanks fans for their concern and looks forward to a speedy recovery and return to the screen. News highlights: Big S, Su Ziwan, passed away due to influenza in February this year, and celebrated his first birthday on the 6th. His former lawyer Deng Jiajing posted a memorial on social platforms, praising the S for his law-abiding integrity and being the most ideal client for lawyers, and firmly believed that justice will definitely come. Some of the 3 cases entrusted by Big S during his lifetime are still renewed by his family. News highlights: the South Korean fantasy romantic drama Make-A-Wish, Elf starring Kim Woo-bin and Suzy. Kim Woo-bin looked back on his anti-cancer experience 8 years ago and said that his birthday wish of health for many years has come true. Suzy thanked her for her safe and smooth life. The two have worked together again after 9 years, and the tacit understanding is better than ever, and the series has been launched on Netflix. News highlights: Tesla Cybertruck attracted attention for its sci-fi appearance and received the highest 5-star safety rating from NHTSA this year, but in November last year, a car accident occurred in Piedmont, California, where 4 college students lost control of the car and caught fire, killing 3 and surviving. The victims' families complained about the design defects of the Cybertruck's electronic door lock and sued Tesla, and the case is still ongoing. News highlights: a man in Tainan, Daji, found that his second daughter, whom he had raised for nearly 12 years, was not biological and requested the court to return alimony after DNA testing confirmed that he was not biological. The Tainan District Court ruled that because the ex-wife is the biological mother, and Daji mistakenly believes that the children are legitimate and need to be supported on their behalf, the ex-wife and the second daughter's biological father should share the alimony of 93 yuan equally with interest. News highlights: Eva Air opened a new North American destination in Dallas, the first time in 9 years, and the inaugural flight ceremony was grand, attracting important VIPs to attend. Foreign Minister Lin Qialong and Chairman Lin Baishui both stated that this route will not only strengthen the layout of the flight network, but also promote Taiwan's economic, trade, tourism and cultural exchanges, and provide passengers with more itinerary options. News highlights: Japanese stage actor Shinsaku Shimazaki died of cerebral hemorrhage on September 6 at the age of 31. He once starred in the musical Les Miserables, and is widely loved for his refined temperament and superb acting skills. The agency has confirmed that the funeral will be held in a low-key manner according to the family's wishes, and a memorial service will be held on October 31. News highlights: the latest research shows that regular exercise can significantly extend the life expectancy of colorectal cancer patients. The challenge trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine confirmed that patients who participated in structured exercise for 3 years had an overall survival rate of 7.1% higher than those who did not exercise, and the benefits were comparable to those of anti-cancer drugs. Exercise is an important component of cancer treatment by improving immunity, reducing inflammation, and increasing insulin sensitivity. News highlights: studies have pointed out that imbalances in the gut microbiota may be associated with dementia. The Nature Communications report shows that transplantation of gut microbiota into mice in dementia patients affects memory, and fecal toxic metabolites are also associated with cognitive decline. Nutritionists recommend consuming enough dietary fiber to maintain gut health and may help improve brain function. News highlights: during the holiday, northern Taiwan and the eastern half were affected by northeast winds, with occasional short-term rainfall, but most areas were still sunny and cloudy. The high temperature in northern Taiwan is about 32-35 degrees, the eastern half is 31-32 degrees, and there is a high probability of local thunderstorms in the mountainous areas and central and southern parts in the afternoon. The intensity of the new typhoon Hailong is close to the strong typhoon, but it is far away from Taiwan and has no impact for the time being. News highlights: experts remind that most medical insurance riders in Taiwan have a maximum renewal age limit, mostly 65 to 75 years old, which means that they may not be able to renew their insurance when they are older, and long-term premiums may be in vain. As the average life expectancy increases, the public should regularly review insurance policies to understand the renewal age and consider asset accumulation insurance as a future medical reserve. News highlights Gu Liqiang went to the Legislative Yuan to attend the policy address and prepared for questioning, saying that the relocation of the Sea Dragon Frog soldiers to Penghu is an adjustment to the needs of defense operations, and military training between Taiwan and the United States is carried out in accordance with normal procedures to maintain regional peace and stability. He also mentioned that the Ministry of National Defense is continuing to improve the treatment of military personnel, including volunteer service and combat unit benefits, to improve military welfare in many aspects. News highlights former People's Party Chairman Cai Wen's appeared in court today, 10/7, for cross-examination as a witness in the Jinghua City case. When prosecutor Lin Junting asked questions about his mobile hard drive data, Cai Wen angrily criticized the prosecution for deeply documenting and fabricating charges and pointed out that there was a large amount of state confidential information in the hard drive, questioning the prosecution's improper investigation methods. He exercised the right to refuse to testify against the people listed in the account book, and emphasized that the relevant funds were only used for elections, and countered that the prosecution was doing political investigation or spying on political party secrets. News highlights Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James posted a video on social platforms with the text "Number the second decision," triggering speculation about whether he will retire. After the video was released, tickets for the final game of the Lakers' home regular season game against the Utah Jazz skyrocketed, with the lowest ticket price soaring from $85 to $445. News highlights the Executive Yuan announced the 2026 calendar, with 120 days of holidays throughout the year, 5 days more than in 2025, including 9 consecutive holidays of more than 3 days. If the Spring Festival and 228 are combined with leave, it can form a Super Golden Holiday of up to 16 days, and the Qingming Festival and Mid-Autumn Festival can also be extended to 10 days, causing heated discussions among netizens.